I'm Wilson Lai, and you're listening to Deep Cut. On Deep Cut, we usually compare a director's most popular film with a personal favorite chosen by one of us. We also discuss that director's life and career to bring in context that helps us view their movies as they may want us to. If you're enjoying the show, please rate and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts to help others discover the show. Better still, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or comment on our episodes directly on Spotify. If you'd like to share a message with us, feel free to drop us an email at hello@deepcutpod.com. You can also find us at deepcutpod.com to find links to our socials, Discord, and Patreon. Welcome to another episode in our ongoing series of Hong Kong International Film Festival interviews that I conducted this year. Today's interview is with a director who has a film that is a real gem that I found at the festival. I think it was a real deep cut, something that I didn't know prior to the festival, a filmmaker that I was unfamiliar with, and a film that really opened my mind up. This is Crimean-born director Vladlena Sandu, with her film Memory. Memory is an autobiographical sort of recounting of Sandu's own memory growing up in Chechnya and having the war break out and having to deal with the consequences of war as a young child. It is very harrowing, but also told in a very playful manner. And we chatted about this and this construction and reconstruction of her memory through this film and how it really affected her. We also chatted about directors that she's inspired by, and also on a tougher note, children in war. It is a really fascinating conversation to couple with a really powerful and beautifully made film. Without further ado, this is my interview with director Vladlena Sandu. Welcome to Deep Cut, director Vladlena Sandu. I want to start with a question about screening your film in Hong Kong. What does it feel like to screen your latest film, Memory, to Hong Kong audiences?
I was there, I think, in 2010, last time. And I'm really, really happy to back to Hong Kong with my feature debut film. It's absolutely new meeting. And that time I met this city differently, and I realized after like a screening and Q&A how people really curious about what's going on. They want to know what's going on in another side of the world. I think yesterday I met one young woman, and she take a picture of me and she started to speak Russian.
Wow!
And she said, "I grew up," and few people was there. They shared to me they grew up not so far from Russia. As well, it's further, but at the same time, it's like a Chinese neighbor. And I think that's why meeting with audience was specially. And I think as well, because in my film Memory, I'm at the beginning, I shared the story about the Soviet Union. And I think it's a lot of comments people have a chance to find in China, I think.
Yeah. I think not even just in China. I feel like around the world, there's some sort of commonality or some relationship that they have with your film. They can relate to your experience or what you portray in the film. You said during the Q&A that this film has been 8 years, correct me if I'm wrong, 8 years in the making. Could you talk to me about what happened within those 8 years? How did you go from just an idea in your head to maybe shooting on set and delivering this film finally?
I started to count like age. Then we had like a first pitching. It was in 2017. Yeah, it was 2017. The pitching was in German, where I first time present the project, but development started earlier. After that, I worked for the script. It takes time. I work with script with 3 layers. One of that's my diaries. Another one, it's I have session with hypnotherapist.
Wow. Okay.
And during that session, it's like I going deep to my memories, and I found few something what was in my deep memories. Like for example, the episode where is my grandfather Mikhail Alexandrovich taught me to kill coyotes.
Yeah.
It was in deep memories. I just start to talk about that, and then how it was, and it's how it's really was traumatic for me, but it was very deep and inside me. I never talk about that trauma. And I think during that way, I found something important points for the script as well. And the third layer, and that was interview with my friend. I'm asked her support me for the script, and she asked me a lot of questions. It was maybe 10 hours interview. Through this interview, we discovered a lot of moments, and with these layers, started work with script. After that, we tried to find the money for the production. That's as well takes time.
Yeah.
And in 2022 started the full-scale war against Ukraine, and I moved from Russia to Amsterdam, where I'm based right now.
Yeah.
And it was difficult time. I was illegally 1 year in Europe, and I just tried to survive. And after that, we received support from another foundation in France, and it's helped us to continue produce the film. And that's why. And the shooting times was 3 blocks. Because we did shooting in Chechnya in 2021, we did shooting in Crimea in 2021, and after that we to continue. If we found the money, we had another shooting like in the studio. We built the theater, and it's like that.
Wow, it sounds like a long process, but it sounds like, I don't know, to me it seems very worth it to work through your own trauma in the form of making a film. Do you feel like, I don't know, it might be too much, too hard of a question to answer, but do you feel like through this film you were able to contend with some of the trauma of your childhood?
Yeah, it's very workable. I didn't thought before how to work art therapy. That's really great too.
Yeah.
Because after that, it's not mine anymore.
Yeah.
I can talk with everyone. I just look at this. Okay, it is what it is. I now it's not mine. It's I took it out.
Yeah.
And how it's worked the art. We have a chance to do something. We can observe it after outside, and we have a chance to have a dialogue with someone. And doesn't matter. It could be in another part of the world.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. That's really great idea to use this tool. And I think what I want to say and share for everyone, if you have something difficult in your past, you have a trauma, you have a lot of things what's really not easy to live with that, try to explain it. Try to use different kind of tools. You can do poems, you can do paintings, you can do photos, you can do a lot of things through the art. You can do movie, you can do everything. And after that, it's not going to be yours, and you can talk about that. That's how it's work art therapy. And after that, I really felt myself much more calm, much more like healthy, like mental healthy. Because we often talk about physical healthiness, but mental healthiness, that's from my perspective, it's the base of to be healthy. And I think that's like memory that's one of the example how it's worked very well.
I'm very happy for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So a lot of the film has to deal with your narration, and you talk about it in your Q&A as a sort of oral history of your account, and you put that in contrast with the official government description of what was going on at the time. I want to ask about the importance of maintaining your own personal truth through making this film.
I apologize. I want to re-ask the question. I understand you correctly.
Yeah.
How I use like historical points through my
but your own personal history.
For example, now we in this room, three of us, and another your colleagues stay outside, or another your colleagues work something further.
Yeah.
But only we are here, and we look to each other, and we know this moment. And for sure, after many years, your perspective about this point and this room, I think, could be more deep than anyone else, because you was there in that moment, not everyone. And through my film, I tried to explain my personal perspective about the time where I was a witness. I was in Chechnya. I grew up during that wartime, and I have a chance to share my personal perception about that. And I think that's important because, for example, I'm a fan of Renaissance, and I read like Darius by Leonardo or Michelangelo, or like one historian is from that time, Vasari. Through their personal perspective, I can understand what is the Renaissance time, because without that, it could be very abstract.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to build our story for the future, because we don't know what's going to be after 500 years later. But I think it's important to share something for the future as well from the personal perspective, because that's going to be documents.
Yeah.
Because every system, governments, it's not a personal. They build something like from another perspective. And from my perspective, it's not could be more reality than the personal perspective about any events. For example, from that meeting at that time in that room, only we are three of us could be the people who can know how it was.
And there's truth in your voiceover narration that you bring in the film, right? Like yes.
That's why I use my voiceover through the film, because the whole film, it's I think the film is very like with fiction way. Everything was constructed, shooted with actors, everything is stages, and it's not pretend to be a documentary visually. But why it's still documentary? Because that's based off the facts from my personal story, and that's with my voiceover. And that's why that film can be a documentary, because I exist like a document through this film.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So you would classify this film as a documentary, or
I'm not sure.
How would you?
I really, for me, that's the question, because what is the documentary? Even we start talk about documentary with you, and for example, you know the films by Leni Riefenstahl?
Yes.
Triumph of the Will.
Yes.
It's, what is this for you? Documentary?
Oh.
It's documentary?
I think stuff in it is staged. So I would say that it would be a narrative film, or like a propaganda film. It would, but reflective of the time.
Yeah, that's everything. I think the people who was there, they really like to say hi Hitler and to and
Yeah.
they did it with the energy powerful, and you observe it and you just wow. But at the same time, that's document, but it's document about how it was.
Yeah.
If we start to do right now research about how it was in German at that time,
Yeah.
for sure we need to look at this film.
Right.
And after that, we can understand something better about that period, because that's as well, everything is built. Because even if we start do documentary right now, we have a lot of points about this reality. The camera could be outside from another window in another building.
Yeah.
Or it could be there, or it's there. It's reality in this world. 360 degrees and everywhere. But only if you have observation of the reality. It's personal perspective. We can't build reality of real reality. Everything could be from perspective of something.
Yeah.
What is the if we're talking about Tree of the Will, that's the perspective by Leni Riefenstahl.
Yeah.
For sure, another director did this differently, and that's after that different kind. Oh, you know, the documentary Jacopetti. It's Italian one. Every documentary, because if we start to talk about like reportage. For me, reportage, it's not a cinema. Reportage, it's another genre for me.
Okay.
But yeah, it's sometimes the reportage become like a style of the genre.
Yeah.
But if I'm trying to understand that's reality, but it, as well, it was built through one perspective. My question about the documentary and fiction, it's complicated, and where everything want to put in the different shelves.
Yeah, into box. Yeah.
But I think the cinema and the life, it's more complicated than just only shelf for that's and that.
Very true. I want to shift gears and talk about the film itself. So in the film, you have a lot of visual motifs, like the shot of the poppies from when you're lying down, or King Kong, or the fans that are swinging over and over again. What do you think about the importance of coming back to those images and going repeating those images through the course of the film?
Repeating images from the theater?
Yeah, it could be the theater, or like just some icons like the King Kong, the gorilla keep on coming back, or the poppies keep on coming back.
I just did my run today in Hong Kong, and close for us, this is the park, and where there's like a lot of heroes from the cartoons there.
Yes.
I think for me they're the same real like you, because they're the part of my observation of the world. And when I met like King Kong, like a character, is become for me much more real than yes. That's how I think from the kids' perspective as well. If you talk with kids and they said, "Who are you?" and I said, "I'm Spider-Man." Yes, and for him is Spider-Man, and that's real. That's absolutely real. He feels himself like a Spider-Man. That's from my perspective as well. I really like this childhood perspective, because it's give for us opportunities to be free about different kind of characters and roles, what we use in social between the humans. And I really like what I observed like in Hong Kong as well. I yesterday was in the taxi where there's a lot of toys, and I thought, oh, it's so good, it's so beautiful, it's so cute. I really like how it's, because I think that way it's very peaceful if we use that kind of characters, we play with that, because what is the life that's we are playing the game. That's all. Even we just sit in this room with microphone and to ask for us the questions what we like to talk about. That's we choose this game between us, and
Yeah.
we choose that moment. That's as well part of that for me.
Did you always want to use these childhood items to tell this story?
That's film about child perspective, observation about what's going on in the life and the world. And I tried to be close for that. I tried to use that's like a childhood perspective, like lines for the film, because that's give it to me freedom to be everything could be at the same time. I can have together Mozart and
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan or Dr. Alban.
Yes.
And everything could be. Why not? Because if you start to talk with serious composer, he's on. That's like a weird combination. No, we need to choose something. If we're gonna use the classic music, it should be like that way. We prepare that and that and that and then and after that, okay, but it's too boring for me. I want to have like a kid's perspective. I want to have everything in my hand together. Why not?
Yeah.
And after that, I can discover something new.
It opens it up for you. Yeah.
And that's amazing. I'm just observe in the park different kind of sculptures with the heroes from and they're from different age, from different, and they together, and I was like, oh, how it's cute! I like it, and outside. In the park, and that's what I like. As well, very interesting. It's not pretend to be. Oh, we just explain characters from the one cartoon. Okay, that's all. I think the perspective to merge everything together, it's very interesting because we are now live in the era where we can find everything in one moment in the phone, in internet, everything. Our knowledge, it's different how it was in the people who live like in Renaissance or in the Chinese culture 5,000 years ago. They need time to find the book, to understand how it's read. It takes a lot of time and energy. Now we have everything. And in the same spot. It means we can merge everything and we can use this like a tool about our reality.
And they're not just kept very clean, your toys, right? In the film, you cut them up, you paint them, you burn them, you do everything to these characters. Like, it was kind of like shocking to me the first time it happened. It happened a bunch of times, but the first time it happened, I was like, oh wow, we're seeing these characters, but then we're ripping them apart. We're changing the way that we relate to them. I don't have a question. I was just saying that it was quite a jarring moment.
Oh, thank you so much for your feedback. It's as well because for me they become a real characters and they live their life, and they like Godzilla have a chance to scream, to have their feeling about what's going on. And for me, the moment when I really cried in the theater. In the end, the character, she just used the fire and that. And when we shooted this and when the toys was in the fire, I really was cried because for me it was where it's big violence against the toys. And I felt myself, I felt how they just in the last moment in life and they feel it. And it was difficult for me to produce that moment.
You work with some really young actresses in this film. I was wondering what your approach was to directing them. A lot of the visuals are sort of abstract in the film, but when the subject matter, like the experiences that you went through are kind of horrific, right? But when you explain it to an actress like that, do you tell them exactly what's happening to them and how they are supposed to react, or do you sort of frame it in a different way when you talk to the young girls that were acting?
I think, for example, if one of girl, she read the poem about Lenin.
Yes.
And was a lot of like kids, they read the poem in the red background, the poem about Lenin. And I just give it for them. The Lenin, they live in another era. Lenin not exist anymore in Chechnya, and I just give it to them and just ask, okay, you should know this text, and I not explain who is the Lenin and what, because after that I'm observe how she read this text, and I understand for her a Lenin to read something like our great Lenin, what is that? And how it's boring for her, this text. And that was my feeling.
Yeah.
And that's really worked for me, like how she does it. And in other kids, I put like a moments where they with red background and they just try to remember which kind of words they should use, and they eyes like in that moment when they just try to remember which kind of what's I'm doing right now. That's the real reaction, how they explain the real moment. Or like the actress, she's teenager.
Yes.
And she's read the text, she's pronounced the text about the beginning of war. I have idea to use me and that frame. And I did this monologue and she look how I did it. We shoot it and she did one take.
Wow.
And she did absolutely how she does it, like look at the camera and talk about these memories. Memories about how war began. And I just have my goose skin at that moment, and I realize how it's, she just look how I did, and she, for the one take, did amazing piece. That's what I how I felt. And I think that's what is very important for the work with actors. Doesn't matter how old they're young or they're old. It's you should feel the feelings between how it's merged. Like for example, the young actors, the Amina Taysumova, it was like a casting in Chechnya, in Grozny. A lot of girls was there. I don't know. I met like a few hundreds of girls during this casting, and I asked them very basic question because they're not professional, they're just girls. What kind of hobby you have? What do you like? And that's something. And I'm like use my iPhone camera to record that. And a lot of girls have the same answer. Like I'm like drawing, I like watch TV. It's something like that. And look at her, and she was a shy, and this. I like the box. And I said, what? Yes, I like. And her mom behind me with hijab. And I said, yes, she crazy about the box. She know everything. And
like
she what? Yes, boxing. And I said, what? And you doing boxing? She look at me. No. I'd ask why. Because I need to go for the schools. Her mom said, no, because her father disagree with in Chechnya, and the girls and the women's not allowed to do something like that. And I look at her eyes and I understand she have something the same. My hand was taped few years. I was at school, but she liked she liked the box, but she can't do this.
She has the fire.
Yeah, and after that, I immediately I just feel something through her eyes, and after that I realized she gonna play me, and because she knows something about that, she know how she not allowed to be who she are. And after that, I called her parents and I asked, okay, I have one, like, I want to ask you, I want your daughter to play in my film, for sure, but I want to ask you to give to her opportunities to try what she wants. And I have the conversation with her father. I bought for her box equipment, and they found for her teacher, a woman teacher in Chechnya. Great. And now she's won a lot of prize, and she's strong boxer. She's teenager now, and that's something about that. It's not really like you met someone in the setting and now you said you should do this. No, for me the work with actors, it's about life, how we feel each other, how we can meet each other, who we are. what we're doing together. That's more important than just to ask someone to play character. It's for me, doesn't work in that way.
I think one of the most striking elements about your film is the production design. It is very singular. I love the colors. I love the way that you use toys. I even love the way that you present this empty house that there is supposed to be full with people, and you never show your grandfather or your mother as a person, right? They're just images on the windowsill, and they're blowing in the wind. I want to talk about your work with your production designer and how you work together to build the visual world of your film.
That's as well. The production designer and DOP, they're my friends. And we was together in Chechnya before. We have the scouting. We spent a lot of hours in this house. We did travelings around the Chechnya. We spent 1 month in Crimea during the COVID time. Like it was a residence. I invite them. I rent a house in Crimea and I invite them, and we just spent the months together to meet each other. We talk about what we like, who we are, what we do. That's is well very important moment how we met each other like a human being. And when I realized, we have a lot of commons. We observe like fun from the same way. We can do something crazy and believe for that and say, that's amazing, and to do something with fun. And yes, the set designer, the Daria Litvinova, she's amazing, very talented, and because everything was in storyboard before we shooted the film, because the film shooted with 16 millimeters. We're not allowed to do a lot of experiments and during our shooting time. We need to be really precise what we need to do at the shooting. I think it was really important time how we tried to find the way to because the first was a script. We talk about the script, what it is, and then that. We tried to do tests about something, how we should shoot house, how we shoot this or this, from different kind of perspective. And after that, for me, it wasn't a difficult moment to find decision how we gonna build the line with this violence. And because it's very complicated to explain the situation with violence for me without real violence. And I'm going through this conversation with my team. Okay, but I grew up in the theater, and that's the space where I feel myself safe. Even we in the stage have a war or violence and that, because that's the game. And I said, maybe we're gonna build together this kids theater. Where everything could be, every characters, and we discuss, an audience should be like different kind of characters. Yes. Welcome Godzilla in audience. Yes, King Kong as well gonna be there. And I said it was very funny moments how we really tried to discover something new between us, like a kids. It was the real protest, like a kids with fun, and we was with freedom to do what we like. That's important.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. Did you really, when you were storyboarding or when you were script writing, was it crucial for you to shoot in 16? Was it very important for you to shoot in 16 millimeter, and why?
The film called Memory, and I think the film give it for us the feelings from another time, because digital lines it's different. As well, now for digital way we can use filters and the post-production too, but I feel this kind of different shape from the screen, and that was artistic choice to use the film. And the second time we shooted this film in Chechnya. And Chechenian Republic, it's maybe I can say I never was in North Korea, but I can say that's very close. Because you're not allowed what you want to do without agreement from every department for this or this or this, and they're gonna check what you're doing during the whole time. And because I did fake script for Minister of Culture in Russia, and I did fake script for the Minister of Culture in Chechnya.
Wow.
Because I couldn't shoot this film about my childhood memories during the wartime, because it's still called Special Military Operation.
Yeah.
And the 16mm at the same time with artistic choice help us to be safe to shoot what we want to shoot without checking, because in the digital way we should show everything what we shooted.
So 16 offered some protection.
It's two meanings for this film. The one, it's the artistic choice, because the 16mm give it to me this kind of memory visual style.
Yeah.
And the second, it's a safe process for the production.
In the opening credits of your film, you list, I caught 3 director names in your special thanks at the top, right? You have Tarkovsky, you have Parajanov, and Pasolini, right? Can you talk to me about the importance of those 3 directors to your film? And just your filmmaking yourself.
That's the first Tarkovsky, Andrei Tarkovsky. Why I'm here right now, sit in front of you, and we talk about the film memory, because Andrei Tarkovsky, through his film Andrei Rublev, I saw this film many, many years ago. And if you know the story, one of the young boy, at the time it's middle age in Russia, and one young boy in the destroyed village was alone because everyone was killed after the war, and he was alone looking what's going on. Everyone is killed with fire and he's like 10 years old. And like 3 people with horses coming and just look at surrounded. They found only him, and they ask him, where is like craftsman who can build the bell for the Caesar?
Yes.
And he looked, no, everyone was killed. I'm alone here. And they look at him and say, bye-bye. And they go, and he look at them, and he understand he gonna die there because he is alone. And they said, hey, stop, please, stop. I know how I can produce the bell. And they turn and look at him, and he's like 10 years old. And you sure? He said, yes, I'm sure. Because my father was a craftsman for the bell, and he shared to me the secret. And they took him. And after that, we observe how he tried to build the bell. And it takes few years. And in the end, he's older. And the moment where it's like, in the end bell, it was produced, create the sound. And he looked at the camera, and we observe few tears through his eyes. And he said, I didn't know secret. And that film shared for me idea. I don't know anything, how I can produce the film. Only what I can believe for myself. I can do it. After that film, I start to believe I can be director. And after that, I going for the University of Cinematography, and that's why I do my thank you for the Andrei Tarkovsky, because he inspired me to believe I can be director.
Wow.
That's the first meaning for me why I put Andrei Tarkovsky in my credits. Special thanks. Parajanov. Sergei Parajanov is a very amazing artist, and through his experience, I learned how you can do art without nothing. He used very poor tools.
He does, he did,
and it's really helpful for me. Okay, I don't have a big budget. I just have maybe I can have 10 plastic balloons. That's enough. I can do art for that. And how he used these tools, and it's very amazing way. He's one of amazing artists in the cinema. And Pasolini. And Pasolini as well, he built unique perspective of this world through his art. His visual signature, very recognizable. And 3 of them they are as well activists.
Yeah.
They not only artists, they are the activists. They build something from their perspective about what's going on. About, for example, Andrei Rublev. Its film was done at Soviet Union. At that time, the people can't talk about religions.
Yeah.
That film was closed. It was in the shelf. The Soviet Union regime in the shelves. And three of them work for the topicals, what is very important to talk. And why I put their name, because they inspired to me. I can do about myself from my perspective and to share it for this world.
That's wonderful. And I think probably leads me to my final question, which is about the ending of your film. And you end in this, to my perspective, a very strong anti-war or anti-children in war and children in violence, when you have the song playing as images from around the world of children carrying guns and carrying weapons. And you don't really do much. There's not much. You don't have your voiceover narration. You're not telling us what to feel, but just from those images and from the song, it has a very powerful effect. I was thinking to myself, like, oh, it is not just happening in Chechnya. It's happening all over the world, where children are put into these situations where they have to be next to violence or be witness to violence or be even receiving violence that shouldn't be happening. Yeah, maybe talk about that ending and talk about what you want people to take when they leave the cinema after leaving your film.
I think what you mentioned, that's as well what I want to share. Because the problem on our time, we have a lot of things. We have device. We can use knowledge through the whole of the history in our population. But we still produce the war and violence in this world. We are humans. And we are produced from the kids, the killers. And we have this responsibility for the kids who grew up right now. And we need to understand the problem, not only, for example, even right now, war between Palestine and Israel could be done. But we need to take care of the kids who grew up from both of the sides. The kids who grew up during the wartime in Palestine, who lost parents, relatives, pieces of body, and.
Yeah.
What they want to do? They're not ready to build a peace.
No.
They're really ready to do revenge.
Yeah.
And we need to be very clear where it's officially could be done, but it's not done yet. And how we can support and take care of the kids and the people who grew up at the war zones. How we have a chance to transform this trauma and violence for the peace. That's a big question. And I think if we start to talk about that, if we start to talk about this kind of issues, or like the kids who grew up at the huge propaganda, they as well, what use the propaganda? Which kind of propaganda use narratives? Everyone is enemies. We need to protect ourselves against the enemies in this world. What's doing the propaganda? And as well, it's big question. How after that, the kids who grew up in this kind of environment, and they with this thinking, oh, we're the enemies, and everywhere we just need to protect our land against the enemies. As well, what I can say, what's going on in Russia and in Russian right now.
Yeah.
The enemies for the Russia, it's not only people in Ukraine, China. I grew up in the environment where we're talking a lot about how gonna be China occupied the Russia. And we need to be really careful about Chinese people. They want to take our land. They're not our friends. But that's what's kind of narrative use the propaganda. And what's gonna be with kids who grew up entire whole life with this kind of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think very important to organize the dialogue about this kind of issues, how we have a chance to build the peace, how we have a chance to build the net between us, not to talk about we enemies to each other. I think we have a lot of commons.
Yeah.
And we can talk together about that. And that's, I think, more difficult than to produce the violence, because the violence is the circle of violence. He produced for himself.
Yeah.
The kids who grew up, that's the meanings of the memory. At the beginning, we observe like a little girl. She just walking at the beach and play the balloons.
Yeah.
What's she doing? They're just doing something like that. In the end, we observe the kids with weapons. That's all what we. And yesterday was in the M Plus Museum.
Yeah.
When I discovered few artists, Chinese artists, and that one of them, the work, it's the little girl with a gun, and I think this work called The Gun. What is the name of Liu Ye? I pronounced correctly.
Yeah, Liu, yeah.
Yeah, and his work Gun. And when I just observe it, and I'm stayed. And I observed how this is little girl observed this is a painting that where is the little girl with weapons. And I understand it's and the end of my film. And through this way, I realize as well a lot of commons with this great artist, Chinese artist, where I don't know about him before.
Yeah.
I found him in museum, but we think about the same. And I think, like humans, we have more commons than to feel enemies to each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
Yeah. It's a very powerful and important place to end our interview. Thank you so much for joining me today on this interview. And I really found your film to be remarkable. And I suggest everyone go and find Memory where you can.
Thank you so much, and I think it's going to be few screenings tomorrow. It's 12:30 and 13 of.
And a lot of our listeners are also based in America, so I saw you're going to New Directors, New Films in a few weeks, right? Or now soon, very soon.
It's going to be premiere in the MoMA in 16th of April.
Okay.
And that's I can't digest right now what I'm in Hong Kong, and I'm gonna go for the New York. I just it's a lot of happened. And I have to have this conversation and dialogue with people from another side of the world, and to build the peace, and through this conversation and connection, what it means a lot for me, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for inviting me and to talk about the film Memory. It's very important for me personally, and I think for my question, how we can build the peace together.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And that was our interview. Thank you so much to Vladlena Sandu for joining me on the podcast, and thank you to Rainy Tao and Polly Chan from HKIFF with your help with this interview. And thank you for listening to Deep Cut. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts to help others discover the show. A great way to support us is to leave a review or comment on our episodes directly on Spotify. If you've seen Memory at one of its festival screenings around the world, please let me know if you've enjoyed it and what your thoughts are on it. If you want to chat with us and other fans of Deep Cut, come join our Discord server, where we talk about movies, TV, music, and share what we're up to. If you'd like to share a message with us or have business inquiries, feel free to drop us an email at hello@deepcutpod.com. We also have a Patreon if you'd like to support us with a monthly subscription. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters, and a very special thank you to our Patreon Deep Cut Pick supporter, Leah Lai. You can keep up with Deep Cut on Instagram and Letterboxd at DeepCutPod. Click the link in our description or go to deepcutpod.com to find links to everything we've mentioned here. Deep Cut is hosted and produced by us, Wilson Lai, Benjamin Yap, and Eli Sands. Our cover art is designed by Justina Yam, and our theme song is composed by the one and only Eli Sands. I'm Wilson. Take care, and we're looking forward to talking about more movies with you next time.